part of the 1 billion that has already been provided by the Treasury. As a ministry, we're also developing commodity action plans because we do realize that farmers face challenges in these various value chains, and so we are developing commodity action plans which are going to mitigate some of the problems that farmers are facing. Defense and wings. We know they have farms, and so we want to work very closely with agriculture and productivity. We also want to make use of ICTs because we know these COVID times, farmers have to access information through Smart Zambia and Ziamis and different platforms, the information that they utilize. And also, I know that farmers are going to talk a lot about financing. Government is partnering with entities such as the Citizen Economic Commission, the Zambia Credit Guarantee Scheme, the Zambia Commodity Exchange, Youth Development Fund, matching grants, and aquaculture. The many times we have to talk a lot about mechanization, where we are telling farmers that they need to look at value chains which have competitive advantage in the area in which they are operating in terms of marketing arrangements so they can make money. They need to maximize benefits and minimize losses. Moderator, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. My name is Grace Njapawe Efrati. I want to. Hello.
Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Morning. I'm saying my name is Grace Njapawe Efrati. I have one question for Mr. Mwale and also for Mr. Kalei, Zambia Farmers Union.
Mrs. Japao.
Mkwai.
Mkwai, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, so before you ask your questions, just allow us to bring one more panelist, is Mr. Anthony Barker from Buyabam, and then open it up for questions and discussions later on.
Okay, fine. Okay, thanks. Not dead.
Anthony, are you there? Hello? Hello, Anthony? Hello? Anthony, are you there?
Anthony is not here.
Hello, Anthony. We just want to introduce to the panel, to the listeners and the viewers out there.
Yes, hear me?
Yes,
good morning. Good morning to everybody today, and happy Farmers Day. I'm the MD of Buyabamba Potatoes, and a little bit of history about us. We started over 20 years ago, and the idea behind the business was to give access to farmers to the formal sector and try and aggregate potatoes to make them easily accessible and to try and make them affordable for the consumers. Over the years, we've, like Mr. Ray, a number of the panelists today, it's been difficult to access reasonably finance, and we've been exposed to a lot of imports, and we've had to try and redirect and diversify the way we do business, and one of the focuses has been making sure with regards to inputs and due to the exactly what's happened now with COVID, with borders and lockdowns coming into effect. Obviously, we are quite lucky that we've diversified and we haven't been as reliant on imports of various aspects of making our crop sustainable in Zambia, i.e. we have invested up in Mbala and down in Kaloma. We're asked to producing our own potato seed now in Zambia for Zambian farmers, and we have currently just setting up now for to add value, agri-processing with regards to processing and making frozen chips available for the likes of Happy Lions and the various the fast food chains, the QSR. With regards to COVID and innovation, we see ourselves as an essential service, making sure that people are getting food and at reasonably priced, values. We do, as I've seen and as Graham Ray has mentioned, that we're finding that the market is very limited with regards to buying power, and very important to an income coming into the consumer. So try and ensure that we make sure that there's hand sanitizers and regards to social distancing, and when people are coming to buy a product. And from my point of view, I believe that the agricultural industry is going to need a massive financial injection into agriculture to try and keep agriculture alive and sustainable. COVID is not necessarily the situation that I'm done with that, Kay. I think.
Yes, Mr. Richard, it's okay with Mr. Anthony. We're now going to Mr. Richard from CAMCO before going to discussions.
Thank you very much. First of all, Chair, point of correction, we are Comaco, not CAMCO. Yes, sorry, I'm trying to fight to open up my video. I think I'm facing some challenges. The moment I try to switch it on, it starts bringing some retraction, but I'll try. Not let the viewers.
Mr. Mumba from Comaco, please go ahead.
Thank you. I would love to share with you who we are. Social enterprise. We are registered. Combined needs of smallholder farmers and the natural resources which they live in. So our instance is to see how we can hybrid the role of the environment to the smallholder farmers, and how they can look at that environment as one of the entities in which they can seek food and income and realign with their productivity needs. So we do this by investing in farmer cooperatives. And, we are supporting close to 81 cooperatives across provinces where we operate from. We are in Muchinga province, the entire eastern province, and central province, covering 3 districts. That's Chitambo, Sirinji, and Mumba. I mean, we've been around for over 15 years, and we attempted to pioneer solutions across the smallholder landscape, where we are trying to support farmers in different layers of livelihood needs. I mean, we train farmers in all aspects of land use management initiatives. We have been supporting close to now 186,000 households across the entire 3 provinces that I've alluded to. These communities, we have attempted to actually enhance and embrace the role of traditional leaders. So ideally, we are working in 80 chiefdoms, and much of our gender mainstreaming approach is that we work towards achieving a 52% participation by women. Ideally, most of you you must have known Comaco by virtue of its brand, called it out. And I feel some of you have been tasting our peanut butter, our chama rice, our yummy soy. It's our approach to ensure that we have 2 layers of incentivizing farmers as we provide these innovative conservation messages that we feel are very critical against the environment, because we believe, I mean, we have witnessed a lot of change as far as climate is concerned. So if we don't work with our farmers of their such responsibilities to manage the environment, then we have no productivity in the near future, and that will affect the ecosystem. So literally, we operate under a market-based incentive drive mechanism, where we use our markets to drive some of the services that we enhance to our farmers. So we provide markets. This year around, we have targeted to buy close to 12,000 metric tons of crops from farmers. These are purely legumes. We are buying 3,200 metric tons of groundnut shelled. We are buying 3,500 metric tons of paddy rice. We attempt to buy close to 6,000 metric tons of maize that we integrate into our nutritious products, and we are buying beans as well. So that in itself gives the leeway to see how our farmers would be able to look up to Comarco support and be able to tap into the market opportunities. COVID is real, and we have to be mindful that once it affects and attacks the productive community, which are the farmers, smallholder farmers, because I think everyone must be mindful that Zambia is literally 90% dependent on smallholder farmers, because they make the composition of the larger farming population within our country. So COVID, it's been so effective. We have taken certain measures as an institution. One of it is because our work interacts more often with the farmers, because we have to roll out extension services through training. We have to conduct markets where farmers have to come together and benefit from these markets. So our response to that is we have attempted to innovate ourselves through introduction of radio programs. We are running radio programs through what we are calling the Comarco Farm Talk radio shows. So we are airing these training messaging so that we minimize farmers coming together in groups as we are attempting. To achieve that, we have actually distributed close to 800 hand cranking radios. We have printed more than 15,000 better life books that are serving as literature within these communities to reference as radio programs are ongoing, so that each and every household has literature to which they can reference in terms of enhancing their knowledge. And also, we have employed a team of radio producers that are sitting out in Eastern Province. We are using Radio Breeze. We are also using Mchinga Community Radio Station in Chisali. We are using the Serenge radio station in Serenge, which is covering Chitambo. So all essential is to see how we can reach out to farmers so that we minimize the congregation of farmers at one point as we are undertaking farmer field schools, as we are undertaking farmer trainings in readiness for land preparation. Amidst that, we have also innovated the leadership within our cooperatives through promotion of ICT. We have procured 500 as channel in which we can be getting feedback. These smart smartphones have also helped in terms of rolling out the prices. We are able to give farmers the premium prices. Some of our key facets in terms of how we have attempted as Comarco to be able to work closely with our farming community and be able to allow them to remain much more productive. I think you know that out of our production in terms of the value-added products that we put in our supermarkets such as ShopRite, we are mindful that COVID will have some import restrictions, but we have to work to ensure that we enhance our productivity. We have overhauled some of our production facilities
We'll have to cut you, Mr. That is from the panel. We've got a lot of questions coming through from the viewers and the listeners out there. Like right now, we've got a question from Mr. Alexander Kamalo from Mutululu Farms, where they're asking the government on what support, maybe I'll channel this question to Mr. Moses Mwale, to say, how can we be the government to adopt an agriculture and livestock produce value chain addition policy to stimulate the sector into becoming the most guaranteed alternative in the diversification of the Zambian economy? Mr. Moses. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, there's a question for you from Mr. Alexander here from Mutululu Farms on how to lobby government to adopt an agriculture policy on livestock to stimulate the sector and becoming the most guaranteed alternative in the diversification of the Zambian economy.
Yes, thank you very much. That's it. That's a good question. As you know, the business and farmers have to understand, because not every enterprise is going to be appropriate in every given region or area. So farmers have to know what is the best enterprise that they can utilize in a given area. For instance, you can see that in Western Province, we concentrate on issues of rice, cassava, as well as cashew nuts. But it's not good to, for instance, look at maize in Western Province where it's not suitable. In the northern part of Zambia, we look at issues of cassava, we look at issues of beans. In the eastern part, we look at legumes like groundnuts. In the southern province, we look at cowpeas, livestock. And even as we look at livestock, we have to look at what are the types of livestock that are appropriate in that given area. So yes, farmers have to look at what is it that works best in their socio-economic circumstances and with their biophysical conditions, Chair. Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
There's a question from Mr. Bernard Zulu. Are you there, Mr. Zulu? Mr. Zulu, we have a question for you from Mr. Robert Walia from Mwape Farms.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, the question is there any research that has been done on how best business can be done during this period?
Yes, there is some research that has been done, some preliminary research. We're still going. It's an ongoing research, but we have some preliminary things that we've done. Mr. Wala, please go to our website, AIPRI, AIPRI.org.zm, and you'll find some of the preliminary findings or some of the things that we've said about how we can mitigate the effects of COVID-19 across the value chain in the agricultural sector.
Okay, thank you so much. There's another question from Chairman Onde. I think this will go to Mr. Moses again. What financial institutions are available for loans for small-scale farmers?
Thank you very much. Let me reiterate, you can access financing from the Citizen Economic Commission. You can approach the Zambia Credit Guarantee Scheme, the Zambia Commodity Exchange, Youth Development Fund, matching grants, as well as aquaculture development. So there are a couple of initiatives that government has put in place. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with your nearest agricultural office to get more details on these and other schemes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Moderator, good morning. I still have to ask a question. You told me to hold on.
Mrs. Njapao.
Mukwai.
Mukwai, we've got a lot of questions. We'll still ask you to ask your question maybe quickly, but we have a lot of questions that are coming in, so I want to give as many viewers an opportunity as possible.
Yes, actually, my question goes to Mr. Mwale and Mr. Kalei. It's about what mechanism have they put in place to help the small-scale farmers 2020 to 2021 season, as we have a challenge due to COVID-19. As most farmers, rural farmers, they'll find it very difficult to access this money we are talking about. What mechanism have they put in place to help also the rural farmers? That was my question.
Mr. Moses, maybe you can start first before Mr. Kalei.
Thank you very much, Moderator. Again, as I said earlier, the Farmer Input Support Program right now is supporting rural farmers. And as I said, 90% of all the fertilizers for the upcoming season is already in the country. Seed is going to be, on the most part, sourced locally. And all the companies that are going to be supplying this seed have already been contracted. So yes, farmers are going to be accessing these inputs, and we are hoping that we're going to have a good season in terms of rainfall, and then we can have a good yield. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Mr. Kale, are you there? Mr. Kale, Zambia National Farmers Union, are you on? I think we'll continue. Mrs. Njapao, has your question been answered? Mrs. Njapao?
Not really, because when we talk of CEC and grants and other places to access finances, the rural farmer won't be able to do that because there are a lot of things that the rural farmer will be asked to do. This, when we are talking like this, we are talking to us who are in towns, but we are not talking to those people who are in rural areas. So my question hasn't been answered fully, because when you say you go to CEC or to the banks, like the 10 billion which the government mentioned that people they have to access, people are finding it very difficult to access that money because of the how they have designed. So they haven't answered it fully. I just want to know, because my concern is how would a rural farmer access the fund? The small scale farmers, how do they access it? What help would the government and farmers union help for those people who are in rural areas basically, who doesn't know where to go? What mechanism are they going to put in place? That was my question.
So much, Mrs. Njapao. I think your question has been heard. I think we'll also send all these questions to the ministry. I think you also have to give us your line or send your line on the chat group so that we can contact you, and then also link you to the ministry so they can also shed more light, because we want to take up as many questions as possible. Like right now, we've got another question. I think this one will be directed to Mr. Anthony Barker on what are the successive tips on agriculture from Mr. Vincent Timu. Mr. Barker, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry. Can you, Chemo, can you just repeat the question for me?
Okay. The question is from Mr. Vincent Timu on new farmer technologies that require adequate funding. So how can small-scale farmers like him access maybe, let's say, grants or loans?
Yeah, I'll try and answer that to the best of my ability, but...
yes, being an entrepreneur yourself, so...
what we normally do is we approach local banks. We work, Buyabamba works quite closely with Zanaka Bank, and I'm sure if you can work with these type of banks with regards to whatever equipment or mechanized equipment that you require, maybe get a quote on that equipment and go to the bank and ask for some sort of lease financing on this type of equipment, depending also what you're planning to grow. And maybe Camco can also help. I know some of the agribusiness equipment people might also be able to assist with some sort of financing, and maybe with that's all I can suggest. That from the Buyabamba side, we have mainly sourced most of our financing from local banks, and we work quite closely with Zanaka Bank, and they've been quite helpful with regards to this.
Mr. Moses, Mwani, Chimuka Mwinga from Green Knox is asking if fertilizer will be subsidized during this COVID period.
Yes, yes, Mr. Moderator, as I said, we have FISIP, which subsidizes fertilizers. And like I said earlier, 90% of the fertilizers for the upcoming season is actually in the country as we speak. So yes, it will be subsidized for the FISIP program. Thank you, Moderator.
Much. And then there's another question here I think this should go to maybe Zambia National Farmers Union from Mr. Manda from Stockwhite Enterprises. The question is, what are the best practices in piggery farming? Mr. Kale, are you there? So what will happen, Mr. Moses, if no one is able to take up the other questions, you'll have to take them up on piggery farming, the best practices in piggery farming, from Mr. Manda.
For piggery farming, we have the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, which is looking at issues of livestock, and we have all the information that farmers would want to get. We just encourage our farmers to get in touch with the nearest agricultural office. This information is available, and we want to make sure that they maximize on their production systems.
Okay. Thank you so much. And then we've got another question from the youths. This is Richard Kachungu from Young Emerging Farmers Initiative. So Richard is asking, how sustainable is organic agriculture in Zambia, especially in a country like ours?
Yes, thank you very much. Organic farming has its niche, but you have to look at where you are operating from, how available are organic materials, because it's also in line with conservation farming. We enhance, we promote conservation farming because we know that organic materials are going to enhance the soil fertility status, and therefore you can enhance your production capacity. What we normally see is that even as we are talking about organic farming, you have to look a little bit at also supplementing with inorganic fertilizer materials, because some of the organic materials we see are not completely in a sense that they can provide all the nutrients that the crop. Organic materials is the best option. The organic materials are readily available. Thank you, Madam.
So much.
Can I comment on the same as well from Komako? I think we have had a
Please
good
go ahead. We are remaining with a few minutes. We'll be closing in 7 minutes, so please go ahead.
Yeah, just I think to help the person that has pushed in the question on organic farming, and I think you can get in touch with me on 0976 918300. We have engaged the 4,000 households within Eastern Province that are doing organic farming. I think you must have seen in the press that they were certified with EcoSet in terms of the practices that they have put in place, and we are trying to work a market solution for their groundnut produce with a German organic buyer. The instance is that farmers will be able to get a premium value for what they are producing, and that will enhance their income needs within the community. We have a lot of good lessons that we can share on organic farming. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Today is Farmers Day. I think we'll end there. We've got a lot of questions. Please continue sending your questions to meet the farmers. On the panel, we had the MD for Buyabamba, Mr. Parker. We had the director, Mr. Moses Mwale from Ministry of Agriculture. We had Mr. Bala Zulu from Outreach, or IAPU, who's the Outreach Director. And then we had Mr. Ray from Zambezi Ranching and Cropping, Mr. Richard Mumba from Komako, and lastly, we had Mr. Kevin Kalei from the Zambia National Farmers Union. So please continue sending your questions, and then we've got an event coming up on the next month on Meet the Farmers. So we'll continue updating the farmers out there. So thank you so much to the Ministry of Agriculture for supporting this initiative, and to all the farmers out there, please, COVID is real, keep masking up and keep sanitizing. So the panelists, thank you so much for availing yourself and for coming up on this discussion. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody, and thank you. Have a nice